Welcome to the Profitable NDIS Provider Podcast, where we're joined by your hosts, Tania Gomez and Paul Bryan. In each episode, we'll be sharing valuable insights and tips to help you turn your NDIS business into a profitable venture. So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you've come to the right place. Let's stop surviving and start thriving.
Welcome to the Profitable NDIS Provider Podcast. I'm Tania and I'm joined by my lovely co-host Paul. Hey Paul, how you going?
I'm going lovely. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Lovely to see you again. And today we're talking about embracing changes in 2025. And really this whole idea is around that, change this year is inevitable. We're going to have changes in standards, changes in government, changes in what we do as providers, mandatory registration looming, and we really need to be on top of how to do this smarter, how to be a lean business that can pivot quickly, adapt as the market changes. And I thought it would be a good idea to have a chat around key technology and how providers can start to think about technology that they could be using to do things a bit smarter and be a little bit leaner.
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting space, and we've discussed things like AI and all the systems and automations and that sort of thing, but it really does start with a business owner's proficiency for being nimble and for taking in new information and being able to decide, I need to invest time and brain space into, first of all, deciding what we need to focus on, but then also understanding what needs to happen. And with, as you said, with so many changes sort of looming over this next little while, we really need to have a very clear picture of where our focus will be, what we want to do, and where we're going to focus on. I wonder, Tania, what are the key technology trends in the NDIS sector that providers should watch out for in 2025? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think there's two big ones that have been milling around for a while, but it seems to be picking up speed. And the first one is automation. And the second one is AI. I think they're the really big trends. And what I mean by that is, yes, there's ChatGPT, but I actually mean like within your things, like within your CCMS systems or your CRMs, it seems like everyone now has those things built in. So even Meta and even TikTok have AI assistants now built in. So I really think it's time for providers to learn how to work with AI, and even thinking about putting in procedures internally, organizing organization-wide licenses so that you're keeping all of that content inside a workspace rather than in individual staff members' licenses or free accounts. And putting together guides and documents around how you're going to use these as a business, to really start to embrace those and use these tools in everything that you do, to really make things as smart and seamless as you can. The outside of AI, automation. So what I mean by automation is a lot of the CCMS systems are now doing things like API integrations with things like Zapier or Jotform, and really thinking through how can you actually integrate all your different apps in your tech stack. So as an example, if you're using a referral form on your website, it shouldn't just go to an email. It should actually push over into a spreadsheet of all of your referrals. And that information can then be pushed into your CCMS system that starts an automation of setting up your service agreements, or starts a process of, if it's a staff member, you might have a job application form that puts their resumes into a profile that when they're hired pushes that information into their contract. So they're the kinds of things from an automation and a streamlining perspective I think all providers need to start thinking about.
Yeah, it's not such a difficult thing to look at. And I think a lot of people think about, API, what's that? And, how do all these different softwares talk to each other? Zapier, what the heck? And I'll be honest, I was definitely like that until I literally just watched, I think, a 5-minute YouTube video that goes, oh, that's what it does. That's how it works, right? And if we just are a bit proactive about how all these things can actually help us, we start to then get ideas. Oh, I wonder if that piece of software could talk to that piece of software to save me half an hour of work every time a client signs up. And yes, to be honest, yes, probably can. And it's amazing how many things are actually available with just a bit of digging. Having a chat with, some of the amazing software providers in the NDIS, who said, yeah, we can connect to pretty much anything. Like, all these systems have the API access to be able to connect your systems. And we've seen things like that. Like if you have, a CRM that you're using, which automatically sends invoices to Xero, that's an API integration, right? Where the systems have set that up and made that simple for you. That's what we're talking about here. I think that providers really should be looking at, okay, AI is one thing. Automation is going to save them a lot of time and save them a lot of user error of just data transfer and the ability to make life so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think anything that is going to make your life easier and reduce that manual labor is an absolute must. It not only streamlines it, but it actually is great for your staff because it focuses them on where they need to spend their attention, not on all this busy work that actually isn't adding anything. It's not good for them. They're not valuing it. The participants don't value it. But we need to do these things. We need to document things
100%.
like risk assessments, support plans, complaints, incidents, etc. But there has to be a really easy, smart way to do this consistently that keeps the level of quality there without taking a whole lot of time.
I mean, it could be simple as, when you've got your document register and things need to be up for review, like just having an automation that highlights these things and says, hey, this document is now up for review. Don't miss this. It's now time to do this. You can even set up things like email reminders to be able to make these sort of things happen.
Yeah, and it can be really simple. It doesn't need to be anything complex or scary. You don't need an IT degree to do some of these things.
Yeah.
You just really need to figure out where are you spending the most amount of your time that is unnecessary and how do you streamline that and push that to a smarter way of doing it. So, for years I used Calendly, and actually we went back to, because we had so many leads coming in, we went back to screening those manually. But now that we've dropped our marketing campaigns back and we don't have such a huge volume of leads, which was on purpose, now we've gone back to using Calendly. And by using Calendly to book my appointments, I actually don't need Kay in my team to manage my diary anymore because she has oversight. But now I just send someone a link, they book in, they can have an automated reminder 10 minutes before, an hour before, 3 hours before. After that, they can be sent an email that thanks them. All of those things can be built into the system so that it actually means that Kay can help clients and make sure that, we're on top of delivery as opposed to just managing my diary.
Yeah, look, we use a similar system. It's called Reconnect Pro, and all of my clients in Profitable Provider have access to this as part of the program. It has a calendar function very similar to Calendly. It has automations that operate in the background of it. It's all set up inside of one system. Automating client emails go out, whether it be a newsletter or updates or marketing emails, whatever it might be. And then notifications when people reply to those things. We're currently building out just an onboarding process so that people can be notified when certain things are happening, when documents have been uploaded, all of these things inside of one system that also connects to people's CRMs. When people become a client through their marketing process, gets automatically updated into their CMS, which is just saving so much what we call $10 task time.
Yeah.
And really helping you and your team focus on the important stuff like client delivery and that.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for chatting today, Paul. I think next fortnight, we're going to be back to talk about building resilient teams and what a provider can do to really support their workforce in 2025.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Profitable NDIS Provider Podcast with Tania Gomez and Paul Bryan. We hope you found today's episode informative and valuable. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a rating, and share it with others who could benefit from our insights. Until next time, keep thriving.